Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Nerd Variety Podcast. I am your host, Hunter, and these are my two co-hosts. So today's these are my
Also hosts.
also hosts.
Also
I was
hosts.
trying to find a way
Accurate.
to fix that as well.
We are also hosts.
Yes, my also hosts, Hannah.
Yeah, that's my name.
HH. And we have down here, we have AJ.
Hey, wait a minute now.
Also Josh. Or is it OJ?
It's
other Josh?
Whoa.
Oh, sorry. No.
It's just Josh.
Oh, it's JJ.
It's just Josh.
That's what I'm saying, JJ. Just Josh.
No.
Yeah, it's JJ. All right, so it's me, HR, HH, and JJ. So cool. We got that.
Oh, you're HR? I have a complaint here.
Yeah. Okay.
I've had multiple complaints that I've been hanging on to for a while.
It's okay. I know exactly where I'm going to put them.
Why
Or
is
where
the
you can
ground-
put them. So, yes, we're a nice team here. We were talking about alternate universes, and we had a lengthy discussion about this just beforehand. We will only be discussing alternate universes of already fictional pieces.
Because if we talked about alternate universes of our reality, well, that's just about every piece of fiction out there. So
Every single book.
yeah,
And that would
especially
include fan
sci-fi,
fiction.
modern fantasy. Oh wait, fan fiction counts as alternate universes? I
Because
have
it's
so much I
fiction.
can
Yeah.
talk about.
It's fiction. That's what I'm saying. It's like
Watch
that's
it,
where
yeah.
you get into a whole thing.
Yeah, whole thing.
And
I am one of those nerds. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
and we decided to rule out Assassin's Creed because even with it being fiction and everything, it's not necessarily an alternate reality. It's more presented in this is actually what happened, but you just didn't see everything. So, all right. And today we were going to take lists, make lists. I got my little notebook here, and we're going to kind of write down
big notebook.
some that we
Bigger notebook.
make note of, and we will be making our own lists and comparing them. And if I could see, then I could see where I have a marker or pen or something.
Gotta compare sizes.
Yeah. Mine's the best.
See, and I'm the only one that doesn't care. I have a small one. And
Mine's green. It's my favorite color.
Mine's got the elements on it because I'm a nerd.
Mine's a
That's
Lost
pretty
in
cool.
Space one.
Nerd.
Mine actually has math in it.
Mine has my notes from my review. Anyway,
So
we're
does mine.
not comparing notebooks right now.
I also
Uh,
drew this really bad penguin.
Okay, that's great. So
I have
alternate
trigonometry.
universes. Yes, alternate universes. So what do we want to start off with? I did not plan for this. I know.
Jimmy Timmy Power Hour.
No,
I would save that conversation for maybe next week.
maybe. Okay, so we're talking about the whole range of media, except books. Nobody reads books. They're for losers.
Yeah,
Sorry, Hannah. Yeah.
non-nerds.
So we're talking about video games, television, and movies.
Yeah.
So, how about we discuss some storylines in shows or something that have a lot to do with alternate histories. The first one that comes to my mind, as always, is... Would you stop it? The first one that comes to my mind is Dragon Ball Z. And
Yes.
they bring up the multiverse many times. And have,
But within Dragon Ball, they specifically talk about they have their original timeline, which was, Goku beats Frieza. The androids come out. Goku
one
dies
you
of the heart
see.
virus. Goku dies of the heart virus, and the androids come in. I misspoke. Goku beats Frieza. He dies of a heart virus. The androids come out. They kill all the rest of the Z fighters. Trunks is left to grow up alone. With his mom and Gohan. Gohan dies, and Trunks figures out a way to go back in time.
That's what I was gonna say, Hannah.
I'm so sorry.
Spoiler for like a 30-year-old show.
Yeah. Too bad.
I was probably
Um,
gonna watch it
and-
eventually.
But then he goes
But not
back in
now.
time to he goes back in time. That creates a new timeline, the timeline that we all watch.
That's
and follow.
not necessarily the incorrect one. It's just because you can't really say which is the original and which isn't.
Yeah.
Because they all coexist.
Yeah, they do. They all coexist. But the one we follow is the main timeline, even though it's not. It was explained that going back in time created like an alternate timeline.
All right, yeah. So let's try not to spend too much time on this.
Yeah, that was just my brief explanation, though.
And
It
then, of
makes me
course,
wonder-
they bring
What-
back Trunks' universe in Super,
Yeah.
the one that he's from, where he goes back to the future.
Yeah, I was actually about to.
And then-
I was about to ask about Back to the Future.
And then he goes back there, and then that creates the whole timeline that you see in Dragon Ball Super with the Goku Black Saga. Or is it
Yeah.
the Goku Black Saga, or is it the
That's right.
Future
That's
Trunks Saga? I
Nope,
don't know.
no,
I've
but-
heard-
Future Trunks, but it's Goku Black.
yeah.
But on the topic of Back to the Future, would you consider that movies about alternate realities?
No, because that's
No.
more grounded in our reality, kind of, and that's
Yeah.
that's one of
No,
those
but
works of
there's-
fiction that doesn't have alternate realities within
Yeah.
it. It is
Yeah,
an
Hannah.
alternate reality.
That's just them going. That's more of a time travel movie.
Yeah,
it's just-
that's
But
not
I
an
thought
alternate
we
they'll
just said
reality.
create-
that qualified.
Yeah, we said that doesn't.
Yeah. But then this is more like a long running thing where they would have like the Trunks' timeline still. We call back to that. Even if they made an alternate future within Back to the Future, it doesn't count as an alternate universe.
Especially because in Back to the Future, when they go back to the future or to the present, as it would be, that is then their current reality. That is not an alternate reality. They just change the flow of time. Anyway, so
confusing.
let's write this down. The first option on our list is Future Trunks timeline, Dragon Ball Z.
One that I did want to bring up was Earth 3 in their multiverse is the world where morality is switched. So good is bad and bad is good. They have your justice. Well, I'm not sure what's it called.
Is that the Justice Society? Or no?
Justice Society's Earth 2. They're the older heroes.
Yeah.
Based
Is it
off
the
the older
Crime
heroes.
Syndicate, or is that
The
a
Crime
different one?
Syndicate. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You have Ultraman, Superwoman, Owlman, Johnny Quick, Atomica, and they're all just super evil. Ultraman comes to Earth and he's like, what's going on here? Why is everyone working together? Why are people nice to each other?
What is this
no
called?
sense at all. Forever Evil is the most recent adaptation of it, but it's Earth 3 where,
I also
everyone's-
is the animated movie on DC Universe? I don't remember because that's
Yes,
a Crisis
that's-
on Two Earths.
Yeah, that's right.
If you want to look that up.
Or read Forever Evil because it's really good. It's long, but it's really good. Really good way to view it because they invade our world and they are shocked and then they cause all sorts of chaos.
The only thing I can think of is like a specific episode of Star Trek, but
Okay.
I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk about Star Trek.
If you want to throw it out there,
Here we go. Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Give us something.
We may put it at the bottom of our lists, but
Show me what you got.
It was I think it was called Mirror Mirror. It's from the original series, and the idea is I think there's some sort of teleporter malfunction or something, but Captain Kirk ends up switched with the Captain Kirk on a different Enterprise that like everyone's super aggressive and has facial hair.
of course.
No, like for some reason
Sorry,
it's really funny. Like everyone became more intense and got like little scruffy beards.
So I'm just
For some
assuming
reason,
Josh is
they-
laughing because of Community.
I'm laughing because I realize I'm now remembering this is what they. This was more of like one of the original ones where like, oh, good and evil are reversed here. All the
Mhm.
good guys are evil.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of Community 2, the darkest
With the
time.
beards. I'm thinking
Yes.
of the beards. Like, so I made us all felt goatees so we could be evil.
Yep. Sounds about right. So Captain Kirk has to try and blend in on this really aggressive ship, and it's just an interesting time.
Timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so
But I don't know if they ever really
sorry,
explained.
I thought you finished that.
Yeah, I don't really know if they ever really explained like why that happened. Teleporters are weird, man.
Because they wanted
Yeah.
to make an episode out of that premise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta do a what if episode. Well, we already kind of went into with Community's darkest timeline. The one with the episode, I think the episode's in season 2 or 3, where they're playing they're about to play Yahtzee.
Yeah, they were going to. I don't think they ever actually intended on it because Troy did the dice and he's like, okay, let's play Yahtzee. Okay, how to play Yahtzee, and they just didn't get it. It was about they rolled the dice to see who was going to get the pizza, and then they did alternate. They showed each timeline showing what would happen with each different person having to get the pizza. And then the timeline where it didn't land on anything and Jeff had to get the pizza.
Yeah, that was the main good timeline, the one we continued with.
The prime timeline.
There you go. Yeah. Who caught it where everything went wrong? Do you remember?
It was Troy, because Troy had to run out and he knocked over the thing. Everything caught on fire. Then he tried to destroy the troll doll by eating it or something, and so he lost his voice.
Yeah,
destroyed his larynx or something.
The screaming didn't help either.
Yeah, and Pierce bled to death because he got shot in the leg when Annie's gun just happened to go off.
Yeah,
shoot him, and then
she went to the insane asylum.
She went crazy out of guilt.
Yeah.
Jeff lost his arm trying to put out the fire.
Yeah.
And Britta, she got it worst of all. She put a
wait. I forgot about
Shirley. Shirley became a drunk.
Yes.
I forget what happened with. Well, Abed kind of just stayed his own self.
Abed became obsessed.
He just kind of adapted to the situation.
He did. He became obsessed with finding the good timeline and taking over that one.
We're explaining what we're talking about. All right, Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, Britta had the worst of all. She put a washable blue streak in her hair.
The worst.
It was rough.
Because she's the worst.
Yes. So, do we want to include the darkest timeline from Community in our list, our ranking?
If not, include an honorable mention, because it is they do that. Well, then again, it does come up as a plot point for, I think, what was it,
season 4? The year of the gas leak.
Yeah. Well, we could always talk about Marvel.
Well, if we can always talk about it, then why talk about it now?
Well, we can always talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, what in terms of Marvel?
Marvel has a lot. I mean, they don't go into it as heavily as DC does.
I feel like they do, actually. I was thinking about it, and I feel like they do it more often.
They're doing it more often. I think I think they notice people like these, these alternate universe stories, so let's make our own.
Yeah.
The first one I remember I read was MC2 with Mayday Parker. I'm just spouting out examples, but that was the first one I read. Words. I think Peter has won the last battle with Green Goblin. He loses his part of his leg, but he has his daughter Mayday, and she becomes Spider Girl. And it's a really fun. It was a really fun comic read because it just shows you, what could happen, what possible future in that timeline.
And definitely speaking of Marvel, Spider-Man in particular seems to have a lot of multiverses, a lot of alternate realities, which is it's why you get things like Spider-Verse that has its own dedicated stuff. And I tend to think of course, the Ultimate Universe, which that exists, I believe, for just the Marvel universe in general. I think there's a few different Ultimate things like
Mhm.
across the board. But obviously in that one you get like Miles Morales as Spider-Man, and you get
Yeah.
a little bit different version of Venom, I think.
Hmm.
As I recall, that's the one where the symbiote suit is actually the like the cure for cancer or something that
I mean,
their
yeah.
fathers worked on.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's an interesting one. And of course, Miles' story started out when Peter Parker died. Spider-Man. And then
KO.
of course you have Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man Noir. An older one probably would also just be Spider-Man 2099.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Which,
and Spider-Ham, Spider-Punk, so many alternate Spider people.
yeah, we love our Spider-Man. um, But there's also another one, Deadpool. That's a whole deck of cards to
That
open
is
up.
a lot.
Yeah.
I tend to think in terms of like alternate universes involving Deadpool, the first one that always comes to my mind is Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
Awful and horrifying, but yeah, it's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. But then it leads into Deadpool kills Deadpool, Deadpool. I think there are 3 parts to that, right?
I feel like there's also the Marvel Universe kills Deadpool or something. Is that right? I could be misremembering, but yeah. Well, and then I'm sorry, I don't want to get too carried away with talking about all the Marvel universes right now, but
well, the big ones.
This was your pick, so.
Would you guys say that there are any alternate universes in X-Men?
Oh yeah, I was gonna get into that a bit later. That was gonna be my next one.
Because I love X-Men, and frankly, I'm confused about what's going on over there.
Okay.
Well, for this one, we can just say the Spider-Verse, because I mean it's
that is pretty wide, but
yeah, but it's also we have the Miles Morales Ultimate Universe. We've had the MC2 Mayday. We have what we got from Into the Spider-Verse. So I think it'd be a good general collective term for alternate Spider-Man. Let's talk about all of them.
All those in favor, say aye.
I already wrote it down.
Yeah. Hannah said aye, but she didn't say it in the correct spelling. Okay. Hannah, do you have one, or do you want me to mention the X-Men one?
Well, I think I just mentioned the X-Men one.
She did.
Okay, which one?
Did.
Well, I think the one that is most glaringly the same characters but 2 different stories is the original X-Men trilogy with X-Men X2 and The Last Stand versus.
So you're talking movies.
Yeah, the movies versus.
Sorry, Josh, are you still there? Maybe he just turned off his video.
Maybe. Versus First Class.
First Class. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking you were going to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you're talking about the 2 different timelines that kind of come up and meet during Days of Future Past movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that's like a time travel oriented alternate universe kind of thing.
Kind of. That's more of a reboot. They rebooted it and then kind of found a way to kind of bring them together in Days of Future Past. Right. It was really Days of Future Past that they introduced the idea that it was a time travel sort of thing.
Right. And I feel like we've also gotten some mixed messages about Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't talk
about why and how and who and what.
Exactly.
When it comes to Wolverine.
Yeah.
So
they've been real messy with Wolverine, but they've also delivered Logan, which is great. And the whole Old Man Logan was another universe that I was considering bringing up in its own entry. But,
yeah.
So, Hannah, are you suggesting the First Class alternate universe?
I guess so, yeah.
In the films? Okay, so I don't know if there's a name for that series yet.
Yeah.
I guess
new
the first
new
class
X-Men.
one.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Well, and in terms of a ranking, I know we're going to get to that later, but I really feel like it started out strong and has been kind of like
Mayday,
Yeah.
Mayday, Mayday.
ever since. X-Men First Class was awesome.
I
Yes,
really
it
liked
was.
Days of Future Past. I like
But
Days of Future
sure,
Past a lot.
But like,
Uh,
what's the one that came out most recently?
Dark
Dark
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah,
It was
pretty mediocre, honestly.
Yeah.
I remember everybody
Yeah.
said, I meant to go see it, and then next thing I know,
Yeah.
it's out of the theater.
I got really
You
tired
still haven't seen it, Josh?
of Jean Grey being like, I can't control my powers. I'm just so angry all the time. She said it like every 10 minutes. And we're
That's
like,
basically,
girl.
and my
Get
main
over
problem
it.
with that is that's basically the same thing they did in X-Men 3.
Yeah, which is why
They're-
X-Men 3 wasn't that good either.
yeah, but they were so vague about everything. It's just
I just wished I had hoped. I knew it was foolish to hope, but I had hoped Dark Phoenix was gonna learn from X-Men 3.
Nope.
yeah.
They really didn't.
I mean,
Yeah. We just need to keep X2 and First Class and Logan and maybe a couple other ones here and there, but like,
Yeah.
those are really the good ones.
Yeah. The House of M, which, if you're unfamiliar, it's a whole graphic novel. It's a story arc where Scarlet Witch kind of has a breakdown.
little tiny breakdown.
Yeah. And if you are familiar, her powers are she can alter reality. She has some weird stuff going on. So basically, usually she doesn't do too much with it. Like, she uses it in little bits, I guess.
Yeah.
In this one, something happens. I think it's that someone dies or something, or maybe she just has a meltdown. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And she essentially changes everything. She changes the whole universe, and like I think she makes Vision an actual person, and they're married, and they're actually having like a baby or something. That could just be how it starts, and then it turns into a whole nother weird thing. I think it's kind of, she gets into kind of following her father's wishes for an ideal world. So mutants are in charge. If you don't know, Scarlet Witch's father is Magneto. So like mutants are in charge, and they've essentially taken over the world, and humans are treated as kind of captives and lesser beings, and they're, I think, put into camps or something. They're kind of rounded up.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. They do a lot of stuff with it, and just I love that personally in how it ends up being, like it's an alternate universe, but it ends up having such a major effect on the rest of the world, like the Prime universe, and which is kind of where you could say it gets a little gray area in considering it as one of these, but it's interesting. And you also you get to see Scarlet Witch kind of lose it. You get to see what happens when that happens with her. So
well, let's pull it out of the bag. Rick and Morty. The whole show is about them traveling traveling through space, but they don't time travel. They just go to alternate universes where the timeline was slightly different. Rick even mentions in a recent season 3 episode that he traveled to. He didn't travel through time. He just went to a alternate universe where pizza store closes. Pizza store closes an hour later, so he was able to get some pizzas for everybody.
It's like, by the way, that wasn't time travel. There were just some pizzas on the counter, and I took them.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they get into all sorts of things and you see all different versions. They even have the Council of Ricks and their subsequent Mortys, and there's a whole storyline about all that.
And then there's the season 4 premiere episode where Rick, spoiler warning if you haven't seen it, Rick dies basically, and then the whole episode is about him going to alternate timelines in different bodies, and like it seems to be very popular in these alternate realities for fascism to be very prominent.
Yeah,
and he's not having any of it.
But that's also a popular way to talk about it. That's a popular what if scenario. What if the Nazis won World War II and somehow he travels to all of them?
Yeah. Like a shrimp version of it, a like teddy bear version of a fascist world.
The human version, of course.
Yeah.
They make a lot of fun stories with alternate Mortys and alternate Ricks. There's an alternate Morty that I'm really trying to figure out what is going on with, but they're probably gonna just do a slow drip with that. We
all know you're talking about Evil Morty. Okay?
Yes.
And that's not a spoiler to say that it's Evil Morty.
Yeah, he's out there and he's gonna show up more and he's gonna be more involved. But
I said not a spoiler.
It's just how.
Yeah. So what would be your pick for alternate universes or your alternate universe in that? Because that's all, obviously they're all kind of alternate universes, and we don't really know for sure which one they're in, do we?
No, there's
you could say the current
infinite timelines, so infinite universes where Morty and Rick do this, or there's this kind of Rick and Morty, or yada yada.
Supposedly, the Rick that we follow most of the time is C-137.
Yeah,
but there's a whole theory about that.
But he's universe hopped like 2 or 3 times, so it's kind of hard to figure out. But it's all good fun. But I think one of my favorites is the Evil Morty storyline, which isn't completed yet.
So I was going to bring up one of my favorites from DC. I was going to bring up Flashpoint. And that is where, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. What's the Flash's name? Barry Allen.
Barry Allen.
Where Barry Allen goes back in time to save his mother from being killed. And that just opens up a whole thing where, like, Bruce Wayne gets shot instead of his parents, and then Thomas Wayne ends up being Batman. His mother, Martha Wayne, ends up being the Joker. And
dang it, Barry.
Like Superman. I don't remember if his ship still crashed at the Kent farm and then like the government just took him, or if he just crashed somewhere else. But
the movie shows it as his ship crashes in Metropolis, destroys Metropolis, and they recover him and they keep him in the lab.
Yeah, so basically they keep him in the lab, and so he's not powerful. He's not even out in the public doing anything. He knows nothing about anything really. And
nope.
What are some other major changes? Obviously, the Flash doesn't have his powers.
His mother lives.
Yeah, obviously. Because that's what set it all in motion. And then a lot of superheroes are just different. Some of them, it's as little as they have different names. Like Captain Cold, I think, is something slightly different.
You're forgetting you remember the big change, right?
Lord Lukewarm.
Which big change? There's a few.
Wonder Woman and Aquaman are the biggest.
So that is you're right. That is probably the biggest one. Wonder Woman and Aquaman. They both Atlantis and Themyscira are major nations, major world powers, and they kind of met for negotiations or a peace treaty or something. They ended up kind of getting it on, and then yeah. And then, but Aquaman is still married to Queen Mira, and I think Wonder Woman has a problem with that, and she kills her, and it's a whole thing, and then you get a war between Atlantis and Themyscira, and they kind of end up destroying the world, basically.
So we've had some interesting alternate universes. I was looking at a recent one, not too well versed in it. I need to actually read some more into it myself. But Stephen King, his novel The Dark Tower.
The Dark Tower has a lot of. That's like one of those that's, as my understanding is, it's all alternate universes.
Yeah. But it's really cool to see him tackle it, and I think he basically puts all of his stories as alternate universes. But
there's also the theory. There's also the theory that they're all connected.
Yeah, which would be really weird. That Pennywise exists in the same universe as the Shining, or not the Shining.
Well, I was gonna say, like, because with The Shining,
the green
in the books
the Green
at
Mile
least,
or something like that.
because I was gonna say in the books at least, there is a strong connection to. There is strong evidence that it and The Shining are connected, at least
What?
in terms
Yeah,
of
isn't it the
like their
idea that
magic.
isn't the idea that the kids all have the
They
shine?
Yeah, and that's kind of how they work together during the ritual of Shoot to defeat Pennywise, or to defeat it.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
it's a spoiler warning. That spoiler has been out. I haven't even
Yeah.
finished the book, and I know what happened. Plus, now there's like three different versions of that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
not spoiling.
There's the books, there's the miniseries, and there's the 2-part movie. Hannah.
Calm down.
All right.
Also in the same universe as Shawshank, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning. Oh,
spoiler,
no.
yeah.
And the same as, wait, didn't he?
Cujo.
Did he do? Never mind. I don't know what I'm thinking. Yeah, spoiler warning. I don't know what I'm thinking. All right, so your last entry is what
Stephen
specifically?
King,
Dark Tower.
Stephen King, The Dark Tower.
Okay.
Sure.
For my number 10, I have the Star Trek episode Mirror Mirror. And honestly, that's probably just because it seems like it was put in just to have that kind of that premise. And I don't know.
Mm-hmm. My number 10 is the X-Men, the X-Men film First Class. I enjoyed First Class. I like what it leads to, but it's more of a, it's also kind of based off like similar comic things, and it's just not. I wouldn't really. It's hard for me to call it like an alternate universe, so to speak.
They do get into that a little more so, I'd say, when you get to like Days of Future Past, that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they really make it more clear that it's kind of an alternate timeline. But yeah,
but it's based off Age of Apocalypse too.
Well,
not Age of Apocalypse. Sorry, no.
Apocalypse is based loosely off of Age of Apocalypse, Days of Future Past is loosely based off Days of Future Past.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
My number 10 is Rick and Morty. Yeah, it just seems silly.
It is silly. It's a very silly
and
show.
Honestly, I get that, but to me, I had to put it higher in my list just because I really want to see where they go with it. And it hooked me. It's got me hooked. Even only bringing it up in 2 episodes so far. All right, number 9, I have. Sorry, Hannah, I was just kind of mean to you. I put First Class at my number 9. Just because, well, kind of the reasons that Josh said. Also, I don't think it was a great movie. It was maybe one of the better half of X-Men movies, but.
My number 9, sorry, Hannah, was the Star Trek episode.
I didn't really have much to contribute, but yeah, that's cool.
It's good. But I have to give it props for being, I think, the OG what if, storyline. Kind of set the tone for some other stories to be like, what if they went to this universe where everyone was bad?
Yeah.
It's one of them.
My number 9 was the Dark Tower stuff. Just because I'm not super into Stephen King, and I don't know, it sounded like there was just a book of like possible alternate realities.
There's a lot of books.
It's more of a it kind of introduces that in the book that there is the Dark Tower, and the Dark Tower is kind of leads you to like these alternate universes. but it's more about based off the main characters. But I just thought that was a
Gotcha.
cool, literature.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
literary
cool,
work.
but I don't know.
Well, and speaking of it, I kind of seem to be following just after you guys a lot so far. So my number 8 was Dark Tower.
Interesting.
So kind of for the, I guess, some of the same reasons that Hannah was saying. Like it's interesting. It doesn't feel as in line. It feels more open. Like there's a lot of different alternate universes, and it feels, I don't know, a bit jumbled to me. But that may just be because I've not read any of it. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be a specific alternate universe as much as there's just many alternate universes in there.
My number 8 was House of M. This is more so because I haven't read House of M. I do want to read it, just because it seems like a fun, one person can create an alternate reality, and is it referenced in as like an alternate, Earth in like their like multiverse, in the Marvel multiverse?
I don't really know for sure. Like I know they bring it up as it's one of a few events that ends up leading to Civil War. It like there's the House of M thing, it's when they made the Illuminati. That's one part, and then there's also the whole Hulk thing, the World War Hulk.
Yeah, no more mutants.
Yeah, all that kind of leads into eventually the Civil War.
Yeah, because I know they mentioned it in Civil War when I think Emma Frost said their numbers were kind of cut after all that.
Yeah.
My number 8 was Dragon Ball. Yeah. I mean, it's an anime, so I have to forgive it for the fact that I was very, very confused when you guys were talking about it. It just seems like a lot, and it seems a little messy, and I'm just like,
I get that.
I'm good.
Yeah. And to continue my trend, my number 7 was Dragon Ball.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What tarnation? My number 7 was Spider-Verse, because it was kind of broad, but it's still, you have a lot to choose from. You have you pick a Spider-Man that you like and follow through, and they all tell some really cool stories.
Well, my main reason for Dragon Ball 7 was that it was, I don't know, it doesn't feel to me like they spend a lot of time. They don't spend a lot of time really exploring his time. They do, obviously, more so in you see it really like twice, a good bit more in Dragon Ball Super, obviously, but you still don't really explore that world too much. And then, of course, in the movie or the special, the History of Trunks. Other than that, its influence is most clear in how Trunks goes and affects the Prime timeline.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of why I put it.
I'm confused again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What's your 7?
This might surprise you. I put Star Trek, Mirror Mirror. Yeah, I think it was a really good episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought that it was something really cool that I got to explore, and especially like being, having kind of grown up with those characters. It's always fun to see the characters and the actors in sort of different scenarios. So it just has a lot of nostalgia for me. But I mean, it's still a TV show from the 60s, and it's pretty hokey, but it does have a special place in my heart.
Yeah, understandable. All right, so then at number, what are we on, 6?
Yep.
6. This is starting to get to the point where I had a little more trouble. Number 6, I put Community's Darkest Timeline.
Same.
because like it's good. I like it. But obviously it's definitely a little lighter than some of our other choices, and it's a little sillier.
Yeah,
And
it
then of
seems
course it
like
leads into the season 4 stuff,
Mhm.
which there wasn't really much good in season 4.
Yeah, I'm going out of turn because we're talking about the same thing. But it seems like a lot of fun, but ultimately it does seem very silly. So I was like, I'm interested. I'm definitely gonna still have plans to watch Community. Hasn't changed my mind, but I wouldn't list it among the greats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I put Dark Tower as number 6. As I said before, I like that. It's just it's a literary work it's like, oh yeah, there's a multiverse, and you can go to this story and this story and this story, and they have a nice tale of 2 characters who come into this and start exploring that, instead of just seeing like it in a comic book or in a movie.
I'm sorry, which one did you say?
Dark Tower is number 6.
Pay
Dark Tower is
attention,
your number
dude.
6? No.
You never listen to me.
What?
Nothing. Exactly.
All right.
Not
Sorry,
sorry.
when
I'm trying to also go through and add number values to each of these once all 3 have been named to try to see if we have a good ranking of all of them.
He's doing
I
math.
agreed with Community at number 6, so we're back to you at number 5.
Yeah. Number 5, I put Earth 3 from DC. Just because I definitely think it's good. But it does obviously still fall into the kind of the same thing a lot with Star Trek. The Star Trek episode, it's like, yeah, this is basically all the same characters that we love, except they're evil. So yeah, look at that. I mean, again, it's really well done, but it is a little less unique in concept than some other things. So that's my number 5.
My number 5 was The Darkest Timeline in Community. I thought it was a lot of fun seeing them go around the table, see what all happened, and The Darkest Timeline being just really hilarious. And then them actually making it into a way to end season. I think it was the ending of season 4, or
they made that at the end of season 4, yeah, with the paintball thing.
Yeah. So that's a nice way to bring in 2 things: paintball and The Darkest Time, and actually showcase The Darkest Timeline. So that was a fun little story arc they did.
Yeah.
My number 5 is First Class, X-Men. I feel like maybe the delivery wasn't fantastic, but I feel like the stories in general are pretty good. I love First Class as a movie, and just kind of how I think they kind of tried to tie everything in together. I'm not sure how successful they were. But I think in general,
because they did change it from the first movie where he said that they met, like Xavier rescued Magneto from a internment camp, and then they changed it to, well, he still rescued him, but just
And I really do think that First Class is a really good movie.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's good. I don't think it's the best X-Men movie, but
I mean, I said it already is in my top 3. So
hold on. Yeah, sorry. So number 4, my number 4 was Rick and Morty, Evil Morty. Just because I'm really excited to see. I think they've done a great job in kind of slowly bringing that, and all of his stories, especially the second one, they pull you into that really well, and just really make you wonder where that's going to go. And it could be closed out, like they potentially ended it there, but I don't think that's going to be it. And I just think it was really unique for them, especially, and I like how they brought it back eventually. They brought the character back, and it's just, so I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah. My number 4, I would say Flashpoint. I like it was kind of like Barry kind of wakes up in this new timeline, doesn't really remember how he got there. And it kind of shows like how bad how powerful he is. You know, if he decides to go back in time and change history, you know, a lot more can happen than just what he wants, and how it really just messed up the whole entire world, and just, you know, all the mayhem that ensues from that, and how it has repercussions to like the future of DC.
Yeah.
Plus, I want to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne in a in a movie.
Well, you have seen him. He was Thomas Wayne in Dawn of Justice.
I know. I want to see him as Batman. Is in a Flashpoint
with guns.
With guns.
Yeah. I don't know. I could also see him as Reverse Flash, probably.
Who is Reverse Flash?
What? Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I could see him.
Oh, no, he's a little older and it's not as he was. I can see him being cunning. He can do his Negan could possibly work for that, but
I'm mainly thinking of him as Negan for that inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't see him pulling off that combination.
And the comedian. He was already a DC villain.
Yeah, I don't see him pulling off that combination for Eobard Thawne, because Eobard Thawne is also petty, you know.
No, okay, I can.
Yeah.
All right, Hannah, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of potential, especially considering it seems like it mostly revolves around one character.
Yeah.
But definitely enjoyed Into the Spider-Verse, the movie, and would be really interested in seeing that explored more.
Yeah. In the next Into the Spider-Verse movie, which is slated for, I want to say 2021, but I don't remember for sure.
20, maybe, yeah.
Maybe 2022, but I don't know.
That's too long.
Yeah. So my number 3 was House of M. Just because, again, I really I just liked seeing all that stuff. I thought it was a lot of fun. But also it kind of was held back a little bit due to kind of the confusing nature of it, and if it's actually an alternate reality, and because of how it ties into the whole Prime timeline and everything, it's a bit confusing. And they do have some spin-off stuff of it as well, where you spend a little more time in the universe, kind of just seeing what happened with it. But I still think it's really well done. It's very interesting. It's pretty unique, especially seeing just Scarlet Witch's powers in the most out-of-control way possible.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3.
I want to change reality. Number 3, I will say the Future Trunks timeline from Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. Yeah. Watching it, I got into Dragon Ball a little later, of course. So that was a fun. That was an interesting way to start the storyline of the androids and the Cell Saga, and then once been into Dragon Ball, watching Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F, then leading to that, and after the first multiverse storyline, then going into another one, but this included Future Trunks' timeline, and that was a whole mess, and it was fun trying to figure out how it all worked out, because it wasn't as clear as like, oh, it's an alternate universe.
I'm still confused.
It was very confusing. That's what made it fun, though.
Yeah, it was interesting.
We're on number 3.
Yeah,
number 3.
My number 3 is Earth 3, because I did watch the big crossover event with Supergirl and The Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow that was on the CW, which I think is based off of that series. From what research I saw, it was like it was related.
A little bit.
So. I mean, although this may be the one that I didn't see. When was this one?
This was the 2017 crossover, Crisis on Earth X.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of like they do have a universe where, they're I think I know Superman was a Nazi.
Yeah,
was a Nazi.
The last
It was
crossover,
a similar sort of premise.
The last crossover
similar.
of those shows that I watched was the like Alien Invasion one.
Yeah.
So that
was the first one with all 4 shows.
Point is, I think it has a lot of potential. It's been really fun. It is a little bit basic, but there's nothing wrong with doing something classic, and I think that it can be done really well.
Yeah.
All right. Now number 2. Where was my number 2? Oh yeah, my number 2 was Flashpoint from DC, and again, I just thought it was. I thought it was interesting, just seeing. It's a fun what if thing, like especially seeing how one of these superheroes that obviously went through a tragedy of losing a parent, you would almost kind of wonder, and you kind of do get to see Bruce Wayne's side of that as well as Barry's side, where for obviously for Barry it was he saves his mother, but a lot of other stuff is messed up, and for Bruce Wayne it's for Batman it's kind of like he dies but his parents get to live, and you kind of see how they deal with losing a child like that. And it's just, I think that's one of the things that makes it the most interesting, just the Batman aspect of it. And it's you're seeing that Joker and Batman are essentially always going to be intertwined, and it reinforces their relationship, obviously with that being Martha and Thomas Wayne, and just seeing this whole thing unravel as a result of Barry's actions that have nothing but the best intentions, but it's a hero seeing that he can change past to try to save somebody and then dealing with the consequences of that. So I just think it was really interesting. It has a lot to say.
Yeah,
so that's my number 2.
My number 2 is Earth 3. I know it's confusing. Yeah, I enjoy reading some of the Forever Evil, and then looking back at the old Earth 3 trying to invade Earth 1 or 2 stories, whichever one it was back in the pre-crisis. But Forever Evil was the most fun, because you see a lot. You see heroes. They come in. Earth 3 villains come in full force. They basically take over. So Batman is forced to work with villains to save everyone, and it's just kind of wild to see how bad they get. Imagine, you have Johnny Quick, who's a speedster. He's just going around killing people. Owlman's, kind of just like Batman, but more sadistic. Ultraman is, he's somehow weaker, but he's just savage, more savage. Superwoman, her lasso of truth has barbed wire on it. It's a whole lot of fun. And you should definitely check out Crisis on 2 Earths if you haven't seen it already.
I looked on DC Universe and I don't think I found it. Anyway, not the point. My number 2 is also Flashpoint, actually. It sounds really interesting. I am very curious to know how they kind of tie everything together, because it sounds like a lot changes in this new universe, and I'm just curious to see kind of how it's all connected. My reason it's not number 1 is because it does seem like it's been done before. It's not a new idea of let me go back into the past and save this person's life and it changes the future. I mean, I basically just gave you the synopsis of Back to the Future. So not exactly a new thing, but it does seem like a really cool take on it.
Yeah, an extreme take on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then that leaves my number 1 being Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
just
not
because
surprised.
I think it's a lot of fun, and you get to see a lot of different versions of Spider people, and it's fun. And I'm a huge Spider-Man fan.
You are?
Yes.
What?
So I really enjoy Spider-Man.
Oh my God.
So that's, yeah.
Yeah. But there's a Spider-Man for everybody. I see how you feel.
Yeah.
My number one, Rick and Morty, Evil Morty storyline, but Rick and Morty as a whole, you get, you can follow the main Rick and Morty, but then you see like the creators of the show do a really good job of showing, oh, we can make a Rick and Morty that's like this, or Rick and Morty that's like this, and have the show interact with them, or just interact with an alternate universe in general, like where they're hopping, or I think in the first Council of Ricks episode, they're hopping through dimensions trying to escape, and they go to one where people, I think phones are sitting on people and ordering sofas instead, it's just creative things like that.
It gets weird. Yeah.
And my number one is House of M. It seems really interesting. I absolutely adore the X-Men and the Avengers. Would be very curious to see them put together. And more than anything, it seems very unique, right? This idea that like she's creating, like I've seen different things from what you said, but like she created her own world based on her design or someone else's design, right? But like it was like a semi-intentional thing. I think is really fascinating. And I'm definitely gonna look into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I have tallied these.
What you got? Show me what you got.
I have to put on my glasses for this. It's too hard to
Oh
strain.
my goodness.
I know.
Nerd.
Yep. Josh, you wear glasses too, sometimes.
See me with glasses.
So, do we want to start with what ended up at number 1 or number 10?
I think we just want our 10 and 1 because we have already gone for a full like hour and a half.
Yeah, fine. So, not too surprisingly, our number 10, you guys want to take a guess?
Star Trek.
Yes.
Shoot it.
Star Trek. Star Trek is our number 10. And our number 1...
I didn't do it justice.
Number 1... Drum roll. I can edit him, drum roll. Our number 1 is Flashpoint.
Okay.
Yeah, with both you and I ranking it as number 2, it was bound to end up pretty high on the list.
Yep. We did get a tie at number 3 with Spider-Verse and House of M.
There goes Marvel.
Yeah. And then
I guess that's what happens when you make your own timeline.
Yeah.
In Flashpoint or House of M.
Yeah.
All right, but I will round out the rest of them. So 10, Star Trek. 9, what's FC? I did abbreviations. I forgot.
First Class.
First Class. 8 was Dark Tower. 7 was Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Super, yeah. That was 7. 6 was Community, Darkest Timeline. 5 is Rick and Morty. We didn't really have a 4 because we tied 3 at Spider-Verse and House of M. And 2 was Earth 3, and 1 was Flashpoint.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll probably we'll post those rankings somewhere, Facebook, wherever, maybe, I don't know. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This will probably still be a bit of a longer episode, even though it'll be edited, but it'll be fun. It was fun for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're listening and you want more of this, then just let us know, and we'll look at coming back to this kind of format later. So it was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. Who has it next week? Is it Hannah or
Nope.
Josh? What we got next week?
We're going to be talking about your crossovers. Yeah.
I will have more to say about that, probably.
Yeah, I think we'll all have a lot to say about crossovers.
We're not allowed to talk about things that we've already talked about. Josh made that rule very clear this time. So
I might have less to talk about next time.
Yeah. All right, so we're talking about that.
We can
Thanks
talk
again,
about
guys.
crossovers.
We only have like 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, I think.
Until we're done for the year.
until
Season 1 is over.
Yep, that'll wrap up season 1, and then hopefully season 2 will be bigger, stronger, better, harder, better, faster, stronger, and
prettier.
well, I'm already here. I don't know how it's gonna get much prettier. I can take that either way.
Josh has work to do.
I'm either
I'll
bringing it down
wear
or
a suit the
I'm-
first episode.
There you go.
Okay, and
Suit up.
hopefully more guest stars. So, well, hopefully
guest stars.
More like guest randos.
Yeah.
Yes,
probably.
yes.
We might have my husband on an episode.
Maybe guest stars in the future if we're supported enough.
Guest stars.
Okay, thanks guys for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Nerd Variety, and this is us signing off.